Now, I don't know, what current position do you have?
Currently, I practice. I'm a clinical psychiatrist. That's all at this point.
Okay, so here's someone that has had information, about how the system works and been elevated. I'm sure his self-esteem is increased, his self-confidence is stroked. The guy, I got an opinion and I got, initials after my name and experience of whatever, and I'm going to write a book and I can say whatever, and people will seek him out and go, yeah, that's, we love you a long time. And I'll guarantee you that the people that are in support of the advocacy of the doctor here is that those that would benefit financially from the regulation of drug production. And the pharmaceuticals, I'll guarantee you, are jumping all over at every level of this marijuana thing, even though I don't know. I don't know the names. I don't know but I'll bet every dime I got that the pharmaceuticals are just drooling over all of this cannabis money to be made. Am I wrong?
Let me just drill down a little bit and make one distinction, because this is another one that I make in the book, and I think it speaks directly to what you're talking about. Part of the point that I make is that the current federal law prevent the grassroots level entrepreneurs that are developing various products, again, not just raw weed to be sold as raw herb, but liquid extracts that can be sprayed under the tongue. They're developing these products in places like California. Arizona will not be far behind. It's already in places like New Mexico, Colorado, and other medical cannabis states. But certainly they're all over California, becoming more sophisticated in terms of the types of products that are produced. And yet at the same time, there's research going on the East Coast currently with a product that's produced in England that's also a medical cannabis extract, very highly standardized. It's made it a lot further on the global market because it's been approved in Canada since 2005.
Hemp oil, cure cancer.
But I'm not talking about hemp oil to cure cancer. I'm talking about a medicine that's been approved is going to get in line to be approved by the FDA.
Oh, well, hell, I guess it's great then.
Well, what I'm talking about is the juxtaposition of the prohibition of the economic development within the United States, but the preparation to import it from outside the United States. That's a little bit subtler distinction that I think you're making there. It's saying that let's just assume we're all one big happy family, me and the pharmaceutical companies, and I don't think that's a proper characterization, but let's just assume that. What I'm saying is you've got the grassroots level initiatives in places like California, which, by the way, are not the pharmaceutical industries. It's more the growers and the grassroots level entrepreneurs that are being suppressed while we're preparing to do business with global pharmaceutical companies from outside. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that the prohibition serves the interests of selected pharmaceutical companies on a global scale.
And it will until they want to change some little... Let me tell you
what I'm trying to say is that the recognition of the grassroots level development in places like California serves to potentially correct and even overthrow that reality where we've got internal prohibition, but we're looking at the possibility of importing products from outside the country.
No, this is my point. I guarantee you there is not some special interest guy lobbyist with a shiny tie going into Congress representing the pharmaceutical industry and saying, free the people to be able to develop their own, hash, their own oil, their own They are not saying, free the people. It's a principle thing. We need to be for freedom. Hell no. They are trying to limit, regulate it, divert it, doing everything they can to make sure that we are subservient to them and whatever market they get, even if the people are the ones that came up with it. So and in fact is what happened in Canada. So I'm going, all right. To think that I don't understand this is just to put a big stupid sign on my forehead. So I'm going, look, I'm not stupid, and neither is the rest of America, and he sure as hell not the younger people. These guys know how much they've been lied to. They know they're going to continue to be lied to. And the lie starts. Its germination, its seed is based on the point that some government bureaucrat, bunch of initials after their name individual, FDA, whoever you want to call it, they know better what's for them and what they can or can't do with their own body than they do. And you start at that principle, all the rest of this bullshit is what comes. And I'm going, that whole discussion right there is always avoided. No, we're not going to talk about that. So then what do we get? Oh, that crazy kook Ron Paul up there thinking that, you should decriminalize heroin. Okay? What a crazy kook he is. Yeah? Well, guess what's happening? He's skyrocketing in the polls, and he's not going to go away. And it doesn't matter whether he leaves the earth, this year, next, doesn't get don't win, drops, whatever. Doesn't matter. He's just a manifestation of a 75, 76-year-old man that's up there saying what certainly the younger generation and most of Americans already know. That the government was there to defend their individual rights, to make them free, to be free from force and aggression. That's what their job is, and they will not concede that point. They'll go, look, no, we're going to make it, a kinder, gentler plantation for you. Yeah, you're right. The slaves are in uprising, and we're not going to be as oppressive anymore. We're as tyrannical anymore. Well, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen what's changed in just the last few years, if you haven't seen the people rise up and say, hey, you know what? Guess what? I own me. Case closed. And all this discussion about how it's better economically for your mind, for your body, for your this, and we're going to get the FDA to approve and the special interest in the pharmaceuticals internationally. Well, okay, it's okay if we ship it from Mexico or Norway or whatever, and you can have access to it because you're free and you do it on the internet, and we won't arrest you this week. All that kind of bullshit is done. That is over. What we are waiting for now is just the older generation to die off. These people that are in charge, that are in these positions, sooner or later, they die off, and they are replaced with the next generation that refuse to be slaves economically, to fund all their crap and programs and entitlements that they did because the math doesn't work. They can't. They won't. And it comes at the basis of who owns them. And they're saying, you know what? Let me think for a second. I do. And if they have any government, okay, we're going to do this federalism thing. We're going to do this, state thing. State, yeah, we say we own ourselves in this state, at least this state right here, these borders, this state, that's us, ours. 10th Amendment, 9th Amendment, all this other stuff. And then they go, federal government goes, nope, no, you don't. We're Russia and you're Chechnya. Get used to the idea. Okay, got another civil war building up. So the people, it's not about, some resource or who gets the water of the whatever and all these other little ancillary issues that come up when you got an oppressive centralized government telling you we rule you because some corporate interest says so. It's when the people start to understand as individuals, no matter where they are on this entire freaking planet, is that they own themselves. And anyone that makes the argument that you don't, you're going to be on the other side. I don't care how long you want to make my chains. Do you understand my point?
I certainly understand your point. I think you make it in a very spirited way, and as I said, I think there's a lot in what you're saying that is definitely a corrective to not only the way that the drug war has been waged, but it's a corrective to a lot of the problems with wherein regulation serves the interest of
nobody.
big money special interests is
Damn
what I'm
Skippy.
saying, rather than the consumer or the individual American. So I certainly agree with much of what you're saying. But again, I would just say that my feeling was that my point was more modest in Cannabinomics.
Why?
But at the same time, I am, arguing for a strong decriminalization component, which I think is what you're suggesting as well. That, under no case should the issue of what one puts into one's own body be a matter for, criminalization and putting someone into prison. In no case should that be an issue.
Okay,
but
Doctor,
that's
let me
not
make this
all
point.
that I'm saying, in terms of what I'm saying in the book.
I understand. Let me make this point.
And we're running out of time.
Yes,
also.
we are.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make this point.
Yeah.
If you have anyone in the future, as this issue progresses, the 2012 election cycle goes on, all of a sudden now we got two libertarians up there and the Republican, freaking we want to control your everything.
Yes.
As anyone that would make the argument that government is not there to protect your individual rights for you to do whatever you want with your life, your body, your property, if they're not there for that, then they're going to be abandoned. They're going to be, you're over there across this line with the bad guys. You're on that side that thinks that I don't own myself. Okay, you're over there. On this side are going to be people that, hey, if you're going to have any government, it's there to defend the right that you have to control your own body, life, mind, everything. That's the line. there are those that just want to be left alone, and there are those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? That is the line, and that is where it's drawn, and that is what we're seeing across the world. The revolution be a-coming. In the end, freedom always wins. It just gets really messy first, and then we get another try at it. Humanity marches on. We get, a little bit more.
Let me just say that as a general principle, in terms of what you're saying, I don't disagree with that at all, and I think your analysis of how history proceeds is correct, although I think that there is a lot of messiness that comes and goes, and it cycles over and over again. So let's just hope things move. Let's just hope things get better quicker. How's that?
Dr. Christopher Glenn Fichtner, he's author of Cannabinomics, Their Marijuana Policy Tipping Point. And I'm very glad we got to do this because you go and you read his book. You go buy his book, and you need to know the other side. You need to know there is a shift. There is a transition is what the doctor's really trying to orchestrate here, is that hey, look, man, from someone in the industry, I know there is a transition, and it's going over this way. I'm just not going to advocate for the transition points. I'm like, no, the goal is way over there, and it's based on I own myself. But the doctor's right. There is going to be steps that's going to be taken and how best to organize these steps inside a government structure. I don't even want to think about it, but the doctor has, and he's articulated it in his book.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I just wanted to make sure we got that in there.
Yes, this has been a great discussion. I really appreciate it, and you've been a really good dialogue and back and forth discussion. So I really do. I really do appreciate what you're doing. Yeah,
go ahead and give out the webpage. And
it's Cannabinomics, which is Cannabinomics, Cannabinomics, www.cannabinomics.com. The book is easily available at that website, as is more information about me.
And I encourage people in the movement that you're going to be hearing a lot more about this book and this gentleman, because I can tell you, the pharmaceutical industry is going to be going down this road. They're going to be using these arguments. I can see where this is going. Here we go. And the argument's going to be what? I'll tell you, it's going to be exactly the discussion that the doctor and I have had today. Do I own myself or I don't? Well, that's where I think this is all going. Doctor, thanks for coming on. It's always good to have you come on and let us know what is going on in your head, and I'm sure a lot of other people. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you again as the election cycle goes. Another 6 months or so from now, there's going to be more to discuss. I guarantee it.
Yeah, Ernest, let's count on it. This has been a great discussion. Really, thank you for having me on the show.
It's been my pleasure. Dr. Christopher Glenn Fichtner, Cannabinomics.com. Go out there and be free. And by the way, you need to be responsible. We'll talk to you later.